the first day of Vlogmas, I'm bringing to your feed 5 brands that tried it. Or I guess it's actually 5 golden rings. So let's say 5 whack-ass brands. You heard correctly. Your girl T, she's doing Vlogmas. I already know what some of y'all are saying. You're saying, T, what are you talking about Vlogmas? We're already 2 weeks into December. Well, I decided back in the summer, actually, that I wanted to do Vlogmas this year, but I wanted to do it in a way that would not have me running myself ragged. I've actually done Vlogmas for real before, twice, so I know better than to do it again. Instead, I came up with the idea of just going half on a Vlogmas and calling it 12 Days of Vlogmas. You know, like the song, the 12, you know what, never mind. Now, full disclosure, only some of the Vlogmas content will be here on YouTube. But if you want to see all of it, if you want to see all 12 days and whatever bonuses I may have planned, you can join my Patreon, and if you are in the notification tier or above, you will have access to all 12 days of Vlogmas. And as someone who absolutely detests any version of self-promotion, you should come hang out on our Patreon. It's really fun. We actually did some Zoom lives for Kill the Colonizers Day and Black Friday. We have fun. Anyway, pretty recently, YouTube got in this jag of recommending my own videos to me. And amongst the videos that were being recommended to me, again, my own videos, were videos in the vein of 10 times brands played us. Now, I don't know why YouTube is recommending nappy-headed jojoba videos to me. It's easily my least favorite channel. But it did make me remember that there have been some brands that have really crinkled my sphincter since the last time I did one of those videos. I'm cutting it down to 5 from 10 today because I want to get deep on these, okay? Because this one's a bit different. This isn't brands playing us, this is brands playing themselves. So let's get it going. Here are 5 times brands played themselves because they better not try to do us like this in 2021. First up, Pat McGrath Labs. And no, I'm not talking about that primer with the labels falling off the bottles. Though I may come for that ass on another day. Today, I'm talking about the Idols. These were single eyeshadows, okay, with an MSRP of 25 American dollars for 1.1 grams of product. Now, it goes without saying that Pat McGrath Labs is a luxury brand, and that means a luxury price point. But I consider this release to be a blunder because I don't think most people with single eyeshadows like that. I love singles, but palettes are clearly the wave, and they will continue to be the wave for quite some time. I don't see them going away anytime soon, particularly with Pat McGrath's customer base. Furthermore, even if they were trying to appeal to single shadow lovers, this packaging makes no sense because we don't want 15 little compacts of single eyeshadows. Now, of course, you could just depot them from the compacts after purchase. But in my unsolicited opinion, Pat McGrath should have packaged these minimally from the jump. Just put the eyeshadows into magnetic pans so people can create their own palettes as they wish. Or if you want to even do like a Pat McGrath branded empty magnetic palette and then people can fill it on their own, you know, kind of like what Surratt does. There are templates of bougier luxury brands creating a build your own palette situation. And in doing so, by getting rid of the compacts, you could bring down the cost of each individual shadow. Or if you want, offer a version with the compact and then offer a less pricey version without the compact for each shadow. That way the unnecessary packaging doesn't have to be factored into the price, and then maybe we can talk. Well, the Idols shadows are now on sale for anywhere from $9 to $12.50 a pop, depending on where you get them. Flop. And here's where they really played themselves. These little eye ecstasy palettes that came out very shortly afterward, this is the Subversive one. They also did a version of these with more everyday colors. I'm pretty sure that most, if not all, of the 10 shades between this one and then the other iteration of this palette contain shades that were sold as Idols single shadows, as well as shades that, some of them at least, were in the Mothership 4 Decadence. Now, I don't care about packaging. I say this all the time, like, you will not catch me out here buying it just for the packaging. Y'all are crazy. So I could not care less that this looks like a 4th grader's pencil case. But each of the 5 shadows in these is a gram, which is only 0.1 less the amount that you get per shade in an Idols single. Meaning, when these were $28 at full price, you were basically getting 5 Idols shadows for the price of one, or for $3 more if you really want to nickel and dime it. And in the end, they were selling this and the other one, the more like everyday one, in a bundle of the two together for $28 on Pat McGrath's website. Sorry girl, but it's sold out by now, calm down. I only say that to point out how much worse that makes the Idols look as an obvious ripoff. To me, the Idols were just a blunder all around. The only people really checking for them were the Pat McGrath diehards who buy everything. Sticking with luxury brand dragation, let's talk about the Tom Ford Emotion Proof collection. Tom Ford came out with the Emotion Proof concealer last year, only to be exposed for using pretty much the exact same formula as this concealer by Smashbox. It's the Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless 24 Hours Concealer. And this makes sense for a number of reasons. First of all, Emotion Proof just sounds like marketing for waterproof / long wearing, whereas the Smashbox just simply claims to be 24 hours, which is pretty much the same claim. I know Wayne Goss and a few other people did videos on this when this first was going down. Matter of fact, I think Michelle Wong also discovered that the Emotion Proof concealer was the same formula as a Estee Lauder Double Wear something or other. Okay, it was the Double Wear Waterproof All Day Extreme Wear Concealer, although it's looking like that one has been discontinued. Unless, of course, you just buy it in the Smashbox or Tom Ford packaging. Now look, again, luxury brand, we know this, but y'all, the Tom Ford concealer is $54 for 7 mils. The Smashbox is slightly more product at 8 mils for less than half the cost at $26. Bear in mind, Smashbox, Tom Ford, Estee Lauder, these are all Estee Lauder brands. So it stands to reason that different shingles under that umbrella company would be dipping into the same R&D. To me, this was really a flex by Tom Ford Beauty to, one, hope no one would notice. And Thomas said, two, even if they do find out, who gonna check me, boo? Especially when we consider the double down with the Emotion Proof eye color, which basically turned out to be a MAC paint pot. Again, MAC, Estee Lauder brand. The Tom Ford eye color, $46. A paint pot, on the other hand, will run you about $23 nowadays. Now, even though it is 2 grams less product, you're still getting 5 grams in the paint pot, which is a ton of product for half the price of the Tom Ford. Next up, we have a follow-up to a past drag, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Starry Eyes to Hypnotize palette, which was her holiday 2019 palette. Now, I haven't gone back to actually re-watch what I said about this last time around because, as I said, least favorite YouTube channel. But I remember quite vividly that this launch was some foolery. Miss Charlotte was trying to play the false scarcity grift because when this palette first came out, she sent out an email blast to her newsletter subscribers, and it said that this palette would only be available for 24 hours and then it would be gone. Anyone who isn't an anti-masker would probably be able to tell immediately that that was bullshit. It makes 0 sense from a business standpoint. Really, it was just a 24-hour pre-release or soft launch before the full rollout of the palette. Basically, if you just really wanted to be one of the first people to get it, this was your time. But the brand strongly implied that this palette was going to be gone forever if you didn't get it right away. Here's the gag, and this is rich. It's over a year later, and the palette is still available. The Charlotte Tilbury brand has done these 24 hours only stunts since this, but I think they're a lot more transparent in the marketing language now, where they don't really expect us to believe that they went through the bother of researching, developing, and producing a product that is literally only going to be available for purchase for 24 hours. Too Faced. Now, I put Too Faced on this list automatically because it's the holiday season, and every year, like the brand itself, their holiday releases are trash. I put them on this list for playing themselves before I even knew what their holiday releases were, and I just checked before filming, and look at this. Deadass, every year it looks like they weren't able to sell off the previous year's holiday collection, so they're just giving it another go. Like, have they even changed the packaging? Because it doesn't look like it. I mean, this packaging style looked old and dated when they ripped off Nikki Tutorials with that collab, and that had to be, what, 20 years ago? Do something else. I mean, I'm not buying anything from Too Faced, even if they do something else, but do something else. And enough with the mini better than sex mascaras. I swear, they are worse than NARS, who puts orgasm in everything. Too Faced with the mini better than sex mascaras, do they just have like a warehouse full of these that they can't get rid of? They are in everything. You may be hearing some noise right now because this f***ing neighbor child is skateboarding in the garage again. This is every day of my life. I apologize. Coming in at number 5, we have Hourglass. Hourglass, once upon a time, we were rooting for you. My OGs know that I loved Hourglass. Past tense. I've used their ambient lighting powders for years, the blushes, the highlighters. It's confusing with Hourglass though, because their complexion range, in my opinion, has always been pretty good. Their base products, their foundations, have gone pretty deep. Certainly more inclusive than a lot of other luxury brands. The problem has been with holiday. Hourglass insists on releasing holiday products that often, if not usually, will not work for you unless you are lily white. The Ghost palette of 2019 was probably my breaking point, where it felt like they were actually intentionally trolling us with the anti-blackness by naming it the Ghost palette. Yes, I know that Ghost palette was more about the packaging, but f*** off Hourglass. And I even said this last year. I said that I was done with Hourglass unless and until they do better, and I was going to wait and see what happened with holiday 2020. Well, did they do better? They did not. Here we go again with another palette that only comes in one version, no medium or deep dark version, being modeled here by Rosie Huntington Whiteley because they want to make it crystal clear exactly who this is for. But even before this holiday release, that was yet another slap in the face to anyone with even a splash of depth to their complexion. We had the Ambient Lighting Infinity Powder, which came out a bit earlier this year, which again came in one shade, pictured here with a model who is showing you who this one shade is for. One shade which, by the way, was actually too light for some of the white YouTubers whom I watch because they said so in their videos. Hourglass, message received. Y'all ain't for the darkies, y'all ain't trying to come correct. And they've really played themselves because I believe at this point even Sam Rovendal has denounced the brand, which is saying a lot because clearly she and not I is their desired customer. We're done here, Hour Trash. It's been real. Anyway, that concludes day 1 of my 12 days of Vlogmas. Tomorrow will be a tea talk. I'm bringing back my Tea Talks Tuesdays for Vlogmas, but you do have to be a part of my Patreon to catch that one because I'm talking about snappy slogans. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty heated tea talk because some of y'all know I have thoughts. I'm really excited to be bringing back my Tea Talks Tuesdays for the 12 days of Vlogmas though, because Vlogmas is actually the origin of Tea Talks, period. I decided to introduce them the last time I did Vlogmas a couple years ago because the idea was that it was going to be like a TED Talk, except you don't learn anything. So I hope to see you tomorrow in the comments on my Patreon under that tea talk about snappy slogans. But until then, stay safe, stay dangerous, wear ugly Christmas sweaters, and never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye-bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.